This is music, and this message is approved by the Fox God. Welcome to another First Impressions video. In these videos, I share with you my first impressions of the many CDs I've blind bought over the years. I have a good handful of CDs to talk about in this video, and the Fox God will make a sneaky cameo. But first, crossover thrash legends, SOD, Stormtroopers of Death. These guys became crossover legends with Speak English or Die, which is the epitome of politically incorrect crossover thrash. And it's revered for its riffage and its politically incorrect humor. And I have to say, Bigger Than the Devil doesn't hold a candle to Speak English or Die. It's quite mediocre, to be perfectly honest. Decent to mediocre. Don't get me wrong, there's a good handful of songs I think are actually pretty good. I quite enjoy School Bus, and I quite enjoy Celtic Frosted Flakes, and you have a couple of other songs that I think are pretty good. And there is some pretty cool riffage across the board as well, but for the most part, this is a bit of a letdown to me, to be honest. It pales in comparison to Speak English or Die, and I know I'm being unfair because that is a very high bar. Up next, Victims by Insane. This is also thrash metal, but this is straight up no nonsense, aggressive in your face thrash metal with some very well composed songs, I must say. Some people have categorized this as death thrash. I would not go that far. I don't hear a whole lot of death metal in their music. The vocals are kind of harsh, but they're not death metal harsh. They're more like harsh yelling. And quite honest, when I hear the way he kind of goes about his vocal style, I do think to myself, like, dude, if you keep this up, you'll sound like Alex Jones before you turn 32. Be careful. But the singing style does actually fit this very aggressive brand of thrash metal very well. I think fans of thrash metal will really enjoy this release, so do check it out. And we got more thrash metal for you. Iron Force Dungeon Breaker. There is an executioner here, which might be a subliminal message. I'll get to that in a minute. Fantastic artwork here too. Really love that stuff. This is more of an EP. I think a lot of people would consider this to be black thrash, but I would not go that far. To me, it sounds more like it's just thrash metal that is very inspired by the early Teutonic thrash metal scene. And I think that's where the executioner comes in. Like early Sodom, early Creator, early Destruction, stuff like that. This is very, very good stuff. I enjoy it. I would say it's raw, but not primitive. It's unpolished, but not lo-fi. Very good stuff, very enjoyable. If you like the early German thrash metal scene, do check out Iron Force. I think you will enjoy it. Now to something completely different. Kari-Band with Friends live at streaming. This is a genre of music I don't talk about a whole lot on my channel, but I actually quite enjoy it. I'm a big fan of progressive rock music. I quite enjoy jazz fusion too. When you combine the two, you get jazz rock, and that's what you have here. This is fantastic. This is just a masterpiece, in my opinion, of 15 amazing jazz rock instrumentals. The musicianship is out of this world. The bass player is, fantastic. To the point, some people might consider him a show-off, but I think he does what he does in the service of the songs. The guitar work is amazing. I want to highlight the saxophone work here. You have some very, very cool, just typical jazz fusion saxophone solo things going on. But you also have some smooth midnight saxophone, the kind of saxophone playing you would hear in an 80s pop rock ballad. And you would also hear it in the background of a steamy lovemaking scene in an 80s movie. that sort of stuff. And you also have some straight up 80s rock saxophone. And I realized how much I actually miss the saxophone from 80s rock music. So kudos to her for making me realize that. Musicianship, yeah, it's fantastic. This is music you can have on in the background while doing other things, and it's music you can listen to mindfully and just, take in and enjoy all the details. It's just great stuff. Fans of instrumental music, check it out. Fans of progressive rock, check it out. Fans of progressive metal, give it a chance. Fans of jazz fusion, check it out. And of course, fans of jazz rock, this is a no-brainer. Check it out. This is also where the Fox God makes a sneaky cameo, because as far as I understand, some of these guys are also members of the Babymetal backing live band. And that just shows how versatile and professional these musicians are, because Babymetal and jazz rock, two completely different genres of music. So I think if you're a Kitsune, if you're a fan of Babymetal, check this one out too, just to hear what some of the members of the backing live band are up to. Sadly, as far as I understand, one of the members passed away recently, which is tragic, but still, that one here is a fantastic piece of instrumental music. Still in the world of progressive music, but a quite different kind of progressive music. Kinetic Dissenent, Controlled Reaction, the demo anthology. This is progressive thrash metal, and it's a dive bomb thing. So you got 4 demos on here, and you have a substantial booklet, and through to the true to the dive bomb ethos. We start out with the newest stuff and end up with the oldest stuff. So the first couple of songs are from a 92 demo called the Channel 1 Sessions. And then you have a handful of songs from 89 from the Roadrunner Records sessions. And then you have some songs from 88 from the Controlled Reaction demo. And then you have a good handful of songs from 87 from the Fall of Individualism demo. The hype sticker says cult prog thrash metal, called US prog thrash metal for fans of Heathen, Toxic, Forte, and Realm and Drophammer. I don't know Drophammer, but I know all the other bands, and I do get the comparison. But I will say that Kinetic Dissenent they don't sound like a clone of those other bands, and those other bands already sound quite different from one another. Again, I can't speak to Drophammer, I don't know them, but yeah, this is great stuff. Actually, it's melodic, at least to begin. The first couple of songs are melodic, but it's very aggressive and all out thrash metal too. It's probably the least melodic of all these bands that are mentioned here, actually. It's still melodic. Again, I don't know about Drophammer. Now, the thing that's interesting is that the first couple of songs from 92, they are the most melodic songs. They're obviously very influenced by the 90s scene, so you have some elements that are more alternative rock kind of stuff, but it's still progressive metal, and it is still thrash metal. And then as you move back in time, the music just gets more and more and more aggressive, and the 87 songs are all out fierce, aggressive thrash metal songs, but they're still technical, they're still progressive. Yeah, this is great stuff. If you like your progressive technical thrash, like these artists that are mentioned here, maybe also like Target, stuff like that, I think you will like Kinetic Dissenent. I found it really enjoyable to listen to for sure. And up last, finally I got around to listening to this one here, Sermons of the Sinner by KK's Priest. This is KK Dawning's kind of project. It's traditional heavy metal. You have Ripper Owens on vocals, and he's an amazing vocalist. Fantastic singer. The perfect singer for this stuff. A lot of people have called this cheesy because all the songs are about how great heavy metal is. I consider it a love letter to heavy metal music, and I really enjoyed it. obviously you have lots of kind of Judas Priest kind of stuff going on here. I mean, it's KK Dawning, but I don't think they sound exactly like Judas Priest, to be honest. I think this one has more kind of guitar melodies going on and more kind of multi-layered guitar work, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, you have lots of Judas Priest style riffage, again, because it's written by the guy who wrote a lot of Judas Priest songs, right? You have absolutely amazing guitar work on here. That's just mind-blowing. So this is actually a great metal album. And again, kudos to Ripper Owens. He's a fantastic singer. I still think maybe it is a bit petty to call it KK's Priest. Still seems like it was kind of bitter that they wouldn't let him back into Judas Priest. But hey, the way I see it is we have two amazing heavy metal bands now, KK's Priest and Judas Priest. So it's a win-win to me. And again, this is amazing. If you're a Judas Priest fan, hey, check it out. If, like me, you belong to the minority of people that actually like the two Ripper Owens albums, check this one out too. And if you just like traditional heavy metal, it's a no-brainer. Check it out. So yeah, for the most part, some pretty good listens. SOD, a bit disappointing to me, to be perfectly honest, but I kind of had a suspicion that it wouldn't be, that would be a bit of a letdown. And again, I know I'm being a bit unfair, comparing it to, the epitome of politically incorrect crossover thrash. Apart from that, these are all great. I can vouch for them all. Thanks for watching.